I predict HIMS will reach $145 per share. And guess what? I'm going to show you how. So let's get into it. By the way, yes, I am a shareholder in HIMS. It's doing pretty good, I think. So anyway, let's get into it. What's the first growth vector in HIMS to reach that $145 mark? It's artificial intelligence. So anyway, watch this video.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready?
Get ready, y'all.
But can you rock it like rocket? What you talking about? Space out your mind. But can you rock it like rockets? That's a close encounter of what kind? But can you rock it like rocket fuel?
So the video that you just watched is the new HERS weight loss platform. It is artificial intelligence infused with the HERS system. How exactly does it work? Well, it's basically just like this. Have you ever asked AI a question? It usually says, I'm not a doctor, but... And that's basically it. It's just a two-way communication between you and the AI chat bot. Your doctor is not involved. In a traditional patient-doctor scenario, AI does not play a factor at all. At most, the doctor may check with AI without you even being present. So what this does is this new app has AI that sits between the patient and the physician. So it provides AI assistance between both parties. So what happens is the patient will communicate with the AI. The AI will respond to the patient with answers to their questions, and it will ping the physician as needed. And this is already present. This is already live and being used by HERS weight loss customers. And this is going to be expanded to all verticals. The HERS customers using the new care experience are sending 3 times as many messages on the platform, and AI is answering 80% of their questions. So AI has also reduced non-clinical tasks by the team by almost 50%. So the amount of questions being answered has increased substantially, but the actual work done by the team is almost cut in half. So this is a much more efficient system. So anyway, the channel mascot, Xiaomao, you may have seen her before my other videos. I do have an update about her. I'm going to tell you about that at the end of this video. So yeah, stick around for that. But yeah, Xiaomao says to like and subscribe. So what else was released recently that's going to help them to a $145 share price is devices. So in this particular case, it is a smart scale device. So this is basically an IoT device. And what it does is it will update your weight automatically to the HIMS and HERS health platform. So what this will help them do is the system can automatically adjust your dosage as needed based on your weight. So if your weight's good, if it's going the right direction, it can adjust automatically, or can send the recommendation to your doctor, and they could review your chart automatically in the system. And this will help remove costs from the healthcare system. It's going to reinvent healthcare. I mean, not just this device, but many devices like this that will come out soon. So yeah, there's no insurance involved, no appointment involved, no copay. It's automated, it's cheap, it's accessible, and it has quick turnaround. What else do we got? We have, as you may know, peptides. Okay, so the FDA, their PCAC panel, PCAC, they sent a recommendation for 6 of the 7 the peptides that were under review. The FDA is going to review those medications, and they're expected to approve those 6. But above and beyond those 6, there are 3 that HIMS is going to be releasing before the end of this year that were already approved. These are NAD+, sermorelin, and glutathione. Yeah, you try pronouncing those. Not that easy. So anyway, yes, these have already been approved. And actually on the call, for the week of weight loss, on the earnings call, Andrew said that there's tens of thousands of patients waiting for the Wegovy pill internationally. So that's a huge amount of people waiting on peptides, not just the GLPs, but these as well. What else do we have? We have the AI Park. This was announced just a couple days ago in the earnings call. So anyway, yeah, this is a new AI center in the Menlo Park. And this center is going to be focusing on peptides, validation, and stability testing. So what's the benefits here? Obviously, it's pretty clear. Peptides has the potential to generate billions of dollars in revenue for HIMS and HERS. Billions. So obviously, they want to get out in front of the gun. So once these peptides get approved, they could jump onto this train as fast as possible and as safely as possible. That's the thing here, is they want to make sure that these peptides are safe and American-made API. So that's what this is going to ensure. These are American-made products that are going to be safe for their customers. So that's what this Menlo Park facility is going to work on here. So anyway, what else do we have? We have Eucalyptus. So yeah, Eucalyptus was acquired on June 2nd, and yes, they were part of this last quarterly results, and they have $500 million currently in annual recurring revenue, or almost $500 million. And they operate in Australia, Canada, Germany, Japan, and the United Kingdom. So the thing is, Eucalyptus grew at about 100% in the last 12 months. So they are growing exponentially, and they're just about to become profitable. I'll go over that in just one second. So yes, what we're also doing is we're waiting on the FDA to bring those 6 peptides to market, and once they get the approval, HIMS can move very quickly. Andrew mentioned this on the call. Actually, give the call a listen to, and you'll see it there. So anyway, what else is going on? The FTC is suing HIMS, and they're not very nice. But anyway, so what happened here is Gizmodo actually received some of the complaints, and there are 4,200 complaints. Gizmodo got 200 of them. They released 30 of those, and they're mostly resolving around billing and subscribing related issues. So yes, that is a concern. We'll see how that goes. So anyway, I think HIMS will increase their $6.5 billion target in 2030. Why? Let me get into that. So first of all, HIMS is expecting revenues this year of between $3.1 and $3.3 billion. Let's round that off and let's just say it's $3.2 billion. So to reach $6.5 billion by 2030, all they have to do is double their revenue. That's it. It's not that big of an ask when they grew their revenues by 59% in the last year alone. So you have to take into account just that. You got peptides, you have the acquisitions going into effect, you have Eucalyptus, which brought in $40 million in Q2, and will bring in significantly more money throughout the end of this year. I think it's going to be an easily achievable number, and I think they will raise their target on that. Also, we have the growth vectors. So what growth vectors, what KPIs am I looking for to achieve the share price that I said at the beginning of this video? Number one is a big one, subscribers. So what's so important about subscribers? Well, it's pretty obvious, but subscriber counts have been decreasing lately. They only grew a very small number in the last quarter. I mean, look at 13% in 2025. It's been decelerating. So what I needed to see is I need to see that number accelerating again. What did we get in Q2? We got 19% increase in subscribers year over year. So yes, it accelerated again over the 2025 numbers. However, keep in mind, this does include Eucalyptus. So this is not all organic. So yes, HIMS now has 2.9 million subscribers. Now, what else am I looking at? I'm looking at marketing percent of revenue. So marketing as a percent of revenue. So what happens here is the lower the number, the better. So what happened in 2025? In 2025, this number was 39.16%. And that is the lowest it's ever achieved, lowest of all time. So what is it now? From 39.16% in 2025 to last quarter of 34.8%. So what happened? What's this mean? It means that for the amount of marketing spend, they're increasing the revenues even more than before. So the efficiencies in the company, in HIMS, are increasing. So the lower this number, the more efficient the company becomes. That's basically it right there. The other factor is you have organic revenue that is accelerating again. United States revenue earlier this year actually stalled out. It was basically not growing anymore. What happened in Q2? It's up 16%. It's growing again, mostly because of branded GLP medications. See, the HIMS is the biggest, or potentially the biggest, GLP supplier right now for Novo Nordisk. They are huge, and they're funneling out the medications. Whoever needs them and whoever needs to get, lose weight, you got to go to HIMS. You got to go to HIMS. Actually, we already discussed that. So anyway, and what other number am I looking at? I'm looking at the monthly dollars per average subscriber. This is very important. It's basically for the average subscriber, how much they spend per month on the HIMS platform. As you can see here, actually, from 2020 to 2023, it didn't change much. $50 from $50 to $56. Not a big change, but it's been accelerating because of GLPs. But anyway, yeah, it's accelerating exponentially, up to $83 in 2025. What is it last quarter? Last quarter, it is $92. So yeah, from $83 to $92. So it is also accelerating exponentially. So again, this includes Eucalyptus, and Eucalyptus brought in $40 million last quarter. So you can see here, last quarter's revenue was $753 million. That grew 38% year over year. So revenue growth is also accelerating. You can just see it here. Revenue actually stalled out for a while, but now it's back, and it's back big. So anyway, going into this Q2 report, what was expected? What was expected was revenue of about $690 million and adjusted EBITDA of about $42 million, give or take. And then the full year expectations about $2.9 billion, adjusted EBITDA $275 to $350 million. So what's the other factor? The other growth factor that we have is international. So what HIMS is doing here is they are acquiring companies that are growing exponentially in these overseas markets. The most recent, obviously, Eucalyptus. You have, a company. You have Zaba. You have Live Well, and several other acquisitions that HIMS has made just in the last couple of years to expand internationally. And these acquisitions grew their international revenues 17x year over year. Obviously, when you grow from zero, you're going to grow pretty big. So anyway, internationally, it's $131 million last quarter. On the call, they said that they're expecting $400 million for Q3 and Q4 of this year. So that is a substantial increase going forward as well. It's not just in Q2. It wasn't just last quarter, but it's going to grow again. It's going to grow even beyond this $131 million quite a bit. So you have $400 million over the next 2 quarters. So how is it going to grow? How is Australia going to grow? How is the UK going to grow? How is Germany going to grow? How is Japan going to grow? One easy thing is there's low-hanging fruit. These other systems are missing certain verticals that HIMS specializes in. What are these verticals? You have hair products, testosterone, menopause, and many others that they can send to these overseas platforms immediately. And they're going to do that and leverage those verticals on these overseas platforms to further increase their revenues. So that's what's going to happen there. As mentioned before, adjusted EBITDA is re-accelerating again. It's still lower than what we would like, but I'm going to go over the numbers in a little bit on why this number declined lately and why it will be going back up and what's going on here. So yes, on the call, they said Eucalyptus's adjusted EBITDA is at or near break even in the second half of 2026, and it will be profitable next year. Well, that's me saying that. That wasn't on the call. That's me saying that. I think Eucalyptus will be profitable next year. So anyway, there is a thing to note on the earnings report. You may know about this, you may not know about this, but let's get into it. So yes, HIMS reported a net loss of $86 million last quarter. Sounds pretty bad, right? But in that loss, there's a couple of one-time things. For example, there's legal contingencies of $47.5 million. There's acquisition costs of $28.8 million. And there's restructuring costs of $4.6 million. So those are all one-time costs. And if you subtract those out, they're nearly profitable. Even today, they are very nearly profitable again. So that's what's going on there. So yes, what did they do? They increased the outlook for not only Q3, but for the full year. So Q3's outlook was increased to $880 to $900 million, and the full year was increased $200 million to between $3.1 and $3.3 billion. So looking at these numbers, it's just fascinating that they're able to increase the 2026 outlook, but they kept their 2030 outlook of $6.5 billion the same. Even when you got peptides coming, you got international expanding, you got all these new verticals, you got artificial intelligence, all these things, but the $6.5 billion, they kept the same. I think they're going to be increasing it soon because $6.5 billion, that's just a double from here. Do you think HIMS cannot achieve a double in 4 years? They grew 59% last year. You think they can't increase 100% in 4 years? I think it's nonsense. I think they will increase their 2030 targets soon. But I think it'll be before the end of this year. So anyway, there are negatives here. The negative in the quarter obviously is gross margins. Now, the reason gross margins declined is the shift to branded GLP medications. So obviously they were doing compounded GLPs before, which had a higher margin. They're switching to branded because Novo's suing them. So they had to resolve the suit with Novo Nordisk. And switching to the branded Novo Nordisk medications, Novo's saying, give us the money, essentially. So the gross margins are down, which is expected. And there's also international expansion. So when HIMS is purchasing all these other companies are not as profitable as HIMS. Actually, most of them aren't even profitable yet. So obviously, when you acquire these unprofitable companies, your margins will decline. But that will fix going to next year and beyond. And the other thing that will fix these margins are peptides, potentially, and then also artificial intelligence and other efficiencies there. And all these new verticals that are coming online, those will help to improve the gross margins going to 2027 and beyond. But in Q3 and Q4, expect about this level of gross margins. They said this on the call. These gross margins will persist in Q3 and Q4 of this year. So just keep that in mind. So what do we have? To achieve $145 per share, all HIMS has to do is generate $10 billion in revenue in 2036 and keep today's price per sales, and they'll reach $145 per share by 2036. Now, again, I think this number is very conservative. I think this is an easy number to beat. That's just a triple from here. It's a triple from today's number of $3.2 billion to $10 billion. It's a triple. It's easy for 10 years. 10 years. Not 1 year, 10 years. So anyway, going back to Shamount, she is the channel. She is our mascot, and she's a very important part of the channel. She's in every video. And she's 7 years old. And last Thursday, she had a sore on her lip, right here. A pretty big sore. Actually, when she was eating, food was falling out of her mouth. So she had a sore on her lip. I didn't think it was an emergency. I took her to the vet on Thursday, about a week ago. And they said that they think it's due to like a flea-related issue. We gave her flea meds. So anyway, they injected her with some steroids to prevent the inflammation. They also gave her 2 vaccination shots. So before I took her to the vet, I gave her some food. I gave her her favorite wet food with some medicine mixed in to sort of relieve her stress, anti-anxiety medication. And that was the last time she had a full meal. When I brought her back, I tried to give her more wet food. She wouldn't eat it. The wet food stayed out there all day and all night. She would not touch it. It just dried up. So I switched it out to for dry food, and I tried getting her treats, and she only eats a couple pebbles of the dry food, and then that's it. And that was, going into Thursday, from Thursday going into Friday, and then yeah, it was just I'm concerned. So I brought her back to the vet on Monday, and they reweighed her going into the vet. Now the thing is, when I brought her into the vet on Monday, she's not eating. How can I give her anti-anxiety medications when she's not eating? So anyway, I brought her back to the vet on Monday, and she's basically had virtually zero food at this point, no water at this point for many days now, and she lost half a pound. And they did a blood test, and her glucose levels were high, which she might have diabetes, and also her white blood cell counts were high, so she might also have an infection. So I got antibiotics and an appetite stimulant for her. Now, the only thing she can accept is the appetite stimulant, which is like an ointment that you place on her ear. So she's okay with that one. So we can apply the appetite stimulant. So we've been doing that the last few days, and that's helping her eat again. She's been eating more dry food. She's been drinking water, and she's been eating some treats that we got her. So that's helpful there. She's not back to her normal diet. She's about 50% of her normal diet, but it's improving on that front. So we're happy about that one. But on the other two factors, what's going on? Does she have diabetes? I don't know. Does she have an infection? I don't know. But the blood tests say she might. But the problem is we're unable to give her the antibiotics. She doesn't like it. She doesn't want it to. She refuses to take the antibiotics. So I don't know what to do there. So I think we'll probably have to take her to the vet again. So anyway, that's where it stands right now. She's still alive. She's here. She's still with us. She'll probably walk through the video at some point. But anyway, I'll let you guys know when I get a further update. But yeah, that's where things stand right now. Yeah, that's where we're at. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you soon.